Wanted to do something a little bit different today. I think it's kind of fun and I hope that you will enjoy it too. We are going to do a flashback to a video that I created 7 years ago. I had a lot of thoughts back then about health and hiking and fitness, especially because I had just broken my foot. And so I created this video for you, and recently a viewer resurfaced it to me. I love to read the comments that I get on all of my videos, and somebody posted that they had just watched it and they found it motivational and helpful considering their situation. And so I thought, you know what, maybe more of you would like this. So I have taken that video, I have re-edited, and I've added some comments at the end about what's changed in my life in the past 7 years, and I'll give you a hint, it's everything. To give you a little context, I started this YouTube channel back in 2017 when I was planning for the Appalachian Trail. At that time, I was a very beginning backpacker, and I didn't have a lot of friends that backpacked, so I was looking for some community, and I thought, well, you know, there's other people out there posting on YouTube about starting their Appalachian Trail journeys, and if I do the same, then maybe I'll connect with some like-minded people. So here I am, 7 years later with 8,000 plus subscribers and many more watchers. I just love connecting with all of you, and I hope that your backpacking adventures are exciting and as wonderful as mine have been, but in the interim there have definitely been some ups and downs. Take a quick watch and then tune in for the very last part where I'm going to update you and let me know what you think. Hey there, Joey here. It is a beautiful day in Georgia, and I am sitting behind one of my favorite trees that's in bloom, so it's a good day. There's something on my mind that I want to cover, and that is the topic of health. Now, you might think that anybody can hike the Appalachian Trail, or you might think that you have to be super physically fit. In reality, a lot of different people have hiked. There was a blind man who thru-hiked. There are amputees who have been able to hike, and veterans who've hiked, people with PTSD. And so all kinds of people can hike, and people hike for all kinds of reasons. But in my personal situation, even though I've kind of had the idea in the back of my head since I was a child, I thought that I couldn't, because even though I was extremely active growing up, once I met my husband and we got married and settled down and started a family, I wasn't active. He's not a hiker. He doesn't enjoy the outdoors the way that I do. And so we just did other things as a family, and you know, I hate to say that I let those dreams go, but I did, and don't hold that against him at all. We've been happily married for nearly 30 years, and he's an absolutely wonderful husband, but we have different interests. And now that the kids are out of the house, the time is right for me as a self-employed person to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take a leave from my business and I'm going to go hike. But I found out right after I turned 50 that I had what I thought was osteoporosis. And when I heard that, it felt to me like a death sentence. I thought, okay, my bones are going to start breaking. Well, first of all, I thought, whoa, wait, I'm 50. I'm not supposed to get that till I'm like 70 or 80, right? I've always had really low vitamin D, and so I knew that at some point in my future that might be something that I had to deal with, but I really was not expecting it when I turned 50. I still, in my mind, feel like I'm 25. So even though I hadn't been super active in the past few years since I started my business, I've been even more sedentary because I don't travel as much as I used to. And my idea of a good workout used to be running through the airport and going to the hotel and getting up early and doing a workout. I just really wasn't sticking with my health the way that I should. So when I got that diagnosis, I was really upset. I had just started doing boot camp. I was maybe 3 months in trying to get more fit, afraid to jump up and down. And I thought, oh my goodness, I have to worry about breaking a bone. And if I break a bone, then that could be catastrophic because that could lead to another break or be more sedentary, and my health is just going to go downhill. And it felt like the end of the world. Fortunately, I was able to go see an endocrinologist and have more tests done, and she explained to me that what I had is a condition called osteopenia, which is kind of pre-osteoporosis, and even without medication, if I keep up with the boot camp, if I do load-bearing exercise and things like that, then I can hold it at bay. So that was really good news, and that was about 6 months ago. And then I go on vacation and I break my foot. And I didn't want to believe that it was broken at first, and so I walked on it for a week, and when I got home and it was really swollen and still hurt, I was like, I really need to get it checked just to be sure it's not broken. And the doctor came in and said, oh no, it's broken. In fact, I broke it in 2 places. I broke my 5th metatarsal and also 2 little bones at the joint of my big toe. So I thought, oh no, is this the beginning? Especially because I was already planning to do this Appalachian Trail through hike. So I went to the orthopedic and I explained to him my situation, and he looked at my foot and told me what to do, put me in the boot. And I said, is it my bones? And he said, no, absolutely not. Your bones in your foot look great. You're good to go. A few weeks in the boot, good healing, and you will be able to hike. And I thought that was just absolutely wonderful news. I would have been devastated if I thought my dream of a through hike 9 months from now had already ended way before it began. So thinking about that this morning on this absolutely beautiful day, and that so many people out there think they can't hike. So many people out there are afraid to even try. If you're thinking about it, number one, I want to encourage you to do it. Try it. And hiking is one of the most accessible recreational activities out there. It doesn't require a huge amount of physical fitness to go out and do a few miles on a trail. Certainly if you're going to do the Appalachian Trail and you're going to do it as a through hike, you're going to need a greater degree of fitness. But at the same time, many, many people have done it with no experience at all, minimal experience, which I don't necessarily encourage. I plan to get a lot more experience before I go because I'm not a veteran backpacker, but it's possible. And so I don't want you to be discouraged if you have minor health issues, manageable health issues that you could make work and go out on the trail. Another thing I'd like to point out, and I'm sure that you have probably experienced this in your life with people that you know, major health issues can come up at any time. And I know I'm 51 now, and I still feel invincible. Like I said, I still feel like I'm 25. But I know that for some people, that surprise cancer diagnosis or some other terrible disease might be lurking around the corner. I have relatives who have Alzheimer's in their family, and that could start to emerge at any time. So for me, there's a window in my life where my health is good. The health of those in my family is good. And so I know I can go hike, God willing, between now and next year without those issues weighing on me. I am so blessed that my parents, who are both 80 now, are in good health. They have been active their whole lives. In fact, they would spend their summers on a boat cruising different parts of Florida and all the way up to Maine. And they've been a wonderful example for me, and I'm so blessed that they're very healthy in their 80s. But we're not all so fortunate. So I would just encourage you to, number one, take care of your health. Number two, if you're thinking about doing something, if it's a dream, make it happen. Go out and do it, because you never know when something is going to happen that's going to prevent you from doing that. So take advantage of the opportunity when you can. Life is just precious and amazingly short. So that's just my heartfelt message to you, is if you've got something you want to do, whether it's a hike of the Appalachian Trail or something else, make it happen when you have the chance. Okay, that's my soapbox for now. I hope that this has been helpful to you. I would love your comments in the comment box. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to stay in touch with what I'm doing and follow my planning and my hike, I hope that you will subscribe. Thanks for watching. So what has changed in my life in the past 7 years, and what's different about my thoughts on health and hiking now from where I was 7 years ago? As I mentioned at the beginning, my life is completely, hi Forrest, I didn't have him. My life is completely different from where it was that morning when I was sitting on my deck. Gosh, where do I start? The biggest changes in regards to backpacking are that I have now hiked thousands of miles all across the country. I did the Appalachian Trail, although it turned into kind of a hopscotch hike, so you can watch that series if you're interested in how that turned out. I do have on my list of goals in life to go back and through hike the Appalachian Trail from start to finish at some point, maybe to celebrate my 60th birthday, we'll see. I want to do that, just start at the beginning and go straight through. I think would be really amazing thing compared to the experience that I had the first time. So I have done that. I have hiked on the Pinhoti. I have through hiked the Trans-Catalina Trail. I've done some hiking on the PCT. I just did the Tahoe Rim Trail, which if you've been watching, you know I hurt my knee on that trail. And so that was really a wake-up call for me in terms of how I felt about injuries and health and hiking. But at the same time, I have learned that physical health is not the only component of being a successful thru hiker, or actually just enjoying hiking in general. Mental health is really important, and my mental health was particularly stressed when about 9 months from getting home from the Appalachian Trail, I discovered that that loving husband and that wonderful relationship was falling apart because he decided he wanted to be married to a coworker instead of me. Some may say I should have seen that coming, but I was completely blindsided. It was like he just dropped a nuclear bomb into my life, and everything from then on changed. Changed my name back to my maiden name, changed where I live, changed everything. I had to clean out the house in the middle of COVID all by myself, get it sold, move into a tiny apartment, and it just kind of felt like the end of the world, a little bit like that diagnosis of osteoporosis seemed like the end of the world. But now that I'm 5 years out from that experience, I've started to see how there are kernels of light. I'm now with a wonderful person, Andy, who affirms me every single day and just enjoys the same things that I do, even though he's not a thru hiker. He loves traveling, he loves hiking, and we do overnight backpacks and that sort of thing. So I never would have had that opportunity to be with him if my marriage had continued. So, you know, as devastating as sometimes those things are, they can lead to a lot of changes that are for the good. I'm in Colorado now, which is a beautiful place to live, and I really enjoy it. Lots and lots of good things have happened, even though there were some really terrible things that happened as well. I took some of the proceeds from the sale of that house, and I used them to build out a van in the middle of COVID, my ProMaster van that Andy and I travel in today. That was a great project because I needed something really big to do to get my mind off of what I had been going through with the divorce. So that was a good 6-month-long project. It really helped to change my mindset. It helped to keep me occupied through COVID. And then I was able to quit my job. I had saved up a lot of money during that time. And other than what I spent on the van anyway, I had saved up money for living expenses, anticipating that we'd be traveling for at least a year. Andy and I together went all up and down the East Coast, visited places everywhere from South Florida to Maine. We just had an amazing time until he decided that he needed to get back to work. And so I continued to travel solo for a while and then joined him out here in Colorado. And all those things were nowhere in my life plan. I certainly had plans to travel. There were lots and lots of places that I wanted to go and still want to go in the course of my lifetime. But that was something that I didn't see coming. I didn't see COVID coming, like none of us did, right? But yes, so much has changed. There's been so much opportunity in the downside, both physically and mentally. So that has been a really good thing for me to just open my mind and experience new things, even when they hurt physically, even when I get injured, like this knee injury, which is like 99% better. Thank you to those of you who have expressed concern about that. I'm doing great. I'm hoping to be back to hiking very, very soon. Through the course of my thru hiking attempts, I had to get off the PCT because of an injury and also a very nagging feeling that, ironically, I think I didn't know that I was injured until I got off the trail, and you can watch some videos about that up here. But basically, I just had this nagging feeling that things weren't right, and after about 80 or so miles, when I got to the town of Julian and started hiking out again, I'd gone, 2 or 3 miles up a mountain, and I was like, something is not right, and I need to leave. So I learned through that experience to trust my intuition. I've learned that health is, as I said in the video, quite fleeting, and we can be surprised by things that just suddenly take a turn for the worse. And just this spring, I had to get off the Pinhoti because Andy's dad passed away unexpectedly. It was just, it was such a surprise. And I've learned that you have to just roll with it when things like that happen. I mean, I did not have any problem at all jumping off the trail and going to Atlanta to be with him and his family because that's what needed to happen. When I was starting the Appalachian Trail, I was like, come hell or high water, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to finish this trail. And ironically, I didn't quite finish it. I had to go back and do makeup treks the next year when my marriage was falling apart. So I ended up actually truncating some of that. And I still have a wee little bit of miles that I haven't walked on the Appalachian Trail, and I'd like to get back and do that, as I mentioned, in a complete end-to-end hike. I learned that it's okay to take time off sometimes. It's okay to put your health or the health of your friends and your family before your hiking dreams. I think that the mindset that I had when I created this video was that, God willing, if I was healthy enough, I was going to do it, and that had to be the number one thing in my life. But I have learned since then that Hiking and backpacking are amazing hobbies. They are wonderful. They are very good for mental health in some cases. And I'm going to do a separate video about hiking and mental health and how that can help or sometimes hurt. That will be coming up soon because I think that's an important topic. I've learned a lot about, my own mental health, my own reactions to challenges and things like that, and how not feeling well physically can really impact the success and the enjoyment that you have on a backpacking trip. So looking back at this video, I feel like I was spot on with so much of what I said, and I feel like it's still relevant today, which is why I'm bringing it to you again as a remix. I think that there are some new things that I've learned that you've probably seen in my recent videos. I'm going to continue talking about those a little bit more, talking about motivation and health and life and things like that. So if you're interested in hearing more of those kinds of topics from me, put a note down in the comments and say, hey, bring it or something like that. Let me know. But I hope this has been helpful to you, and I am looking forward to bringing you more videos very soon. So I will see you next time.